Welcome back, everyone. We're talking more about the findings of a 4-year study on data privacy, and joining us, University of West Florida cybersecurity instructor Connar McCasland. Connar, thanks for being with us as always.
Oh, of course, thank you.
And this is especially important. We needed you in here to help us dissect all this. So we talked about the study just a few moments ago before the break. Give us a summary of exactly what has happened here.
So the FTC wanted to really look into how are these big social media companies and websites really using their consumers' data. And what they found was way deeper than we could even realize, in that our data is being shared with third parties. And now we're starting to see ripple effects as consumers ourselves in advertisements and almost that feeling we're being watched now.
Now, as a cybersecurity expert, is this surprising to you, and is this just the tip of the iceberg?
Honestly, no. This is something in the industry we've been discussing for a long time, is the idea of data privacy and how do we protect ourselves on these social media websites. I believe this is only the tip of the iceberg.
You said, you mentioned how do we protect ourselves. So you and I talked before the break, or during the break, about the ads. Is this further evidence of those creepy ads that we see, say you looking at something on Facebook, or I always reference talking about something out in the air and then all of a sudden it pops up on your phone. I mean, is this proof of that?
Absolutely. And if you look into the study, what really is happening is that these companies don't even need to look, they don't need to listen to you in order to know what you're actually looking for. They just look at everything from your race, your gender, even your economic status, where do you go on the internet, and they take all that information and they can guess a lot of things about you.
Just trying to predict what you may like and new things.
Exactly.
Vintage t-shirts and vintage hats always comes up for me. And I think, how in the world are there this many vintage companies? And I somehow find myself clicking into every one of them almost, it seems like. Is there a danger in clicking on an ad on Facebook?
There can be.
Okay.
Facebook does not always validate these companies that are putting ads on there. And honestly, Tanner, if you wanted to go make an advertisement on yourself, you can go pay Facebook $10 right now and go put an advertisement on Facebook.
Wow.
So they're not filtering out who's putting ads on that platform.
Okay.
So when you see those advertisements, be very aware and be very careful about clicking on them. If anything, maybe go search it yourself instead of clicking on the link.
Maybe make sure it's a verified company. Okay.
Exactly.
So I see something now when I click on an ad, sometimes it says, such and such company.co instead of .com. What is that? Do you have any explanation there?
It's just an ending that means .company instead of .com.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah, not too bad.
Will these studies, will it lead to any changes, you think?
Honestly, in my personal opinion, no, and that is just because legislation doesn't move as fast as technology does. We've seen the rise of TikTok within a year, especially during the COVID pandemic.
Sure.
And so with that in mind, the moment that we start having these conversations about data privacy, by the time we already have the conversation, technology is already updated again, and there's a new thing.
Now, obviously, a worst case scenario pops up. We think of being fearful with these kinds of things, but a lot of that, it falls with us, right? I mean, we have to be the responsible ones to maybe don't put out everything on social media, as we've been telling each other for decades and decades now, but we continue to do that. So how do you protect yourself?
There's multiple ways to do it. The main things I would say, especially from the results of this study, is first go to your privacy settings on your Facebook account, any of your social media accounts, and you would be surprised to see how much information is being shared. You can opt out of some of these services. I would also be aware of what you're agreeing to. For example, if you click on that cute little quiz that says, what kind of kitty cat are you? If it's asking you for your permission or for your location as part of the agreement to take in that quiz, they don't need that information.
So what kind of kitty cat are you? Enter your driver's license number
exactly,
here.
Right.
Okay.
They don't need that.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here, because you hear this a lot, about these phones and apps and whatnot listening to us. Are they just taking our data off our phone, or is there any reason to believe they are actually hearing us when we're not even operating these apps?
So it's a convoluted question.
Okay.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
They are able to listen to us, because if you think about it, all those, I'm going to call them the smart women on our devices, that have very specific names. I'm not going to say for the poor viewers out there.
Sure.
But when we say those phrases, they're activated. So in order to know those phrases are being said, they are listening.
Okay.
Now, are they taking any conversations we say and using it to create those ads? There are no studies that prove that. But
Maybe
we're
one
not.
day.
Maybe one day, though.
Very interesting. Well, we're not all crazy for those of us that think Netflix just seems to pop up that right movie every now and then when we talk about it. Connar McCasland, University of West Florida, thanks for being with us as always.
Thank you, Tanner.
Coming up after the break, a county judge gunned down in his chambers. The sheriff arrested.